This is very much modern time. They don't care about the real estate anymore. It's the quarter eyeball space. Right. It's insane. 2 deals in the last 30 days. And it's around sports betting.
Champs. Let's go, champ. All right, I think we're live. CSS, what's going on? Yeah, we know, man. The skip is not around. You know, I've been giving you guys the information that he's given me. So it's 7:20 in the morning here in Las Vegas. We're going to go ahead and see if we wait a couple of hours to get some information from the Loch Nessie. Hopefully we are able to get some good news today. Big Nick, shout out to you, man. Everybody for tuning in. I don't have my intros. As you can see, I'm in a pretty decent studio right now. Got the area looking posh. So, you know, we're probably going to be tuning in from these studios from now on. Got to wait for the skip, though, right? They got him in the brig. I don't know. James Valdez, shout out to you. Intrigue, shout out to you. Hopefully my sound is pretty good. You know, I got the iPhones on today. So hopefully the quality is still nice. And you guys don't got no static or any crazy sound. Let me see if we're live on the actual front. Oh, okay. Bam. Looks like my twin tried to talk over me. Big Nick. Yeah, I haven't moved to Vegas just yet, brother, but it's looking like the Eagle's going to be landing here soon. Eric Cruz, what up, champ? How was Catch? It was decent. No, it was great, man. It was good. They got good food there. Happy you guys were tuning into that on the post on the IG. Jamel Fareed, salute to you. And we're going to get started, man. And I know you're probably wondering, like, what the hell is the Doomatron talking about? He has Francis Ngannou in the title. Why is that? We only talk boxing here. I know the usual story. But, you know, Ness is not around, so we're going to play. We're going to dive into a little bit of MMA, man. And really, honestly, I just have a couple of questions for you guys. Francis Ngannou wants to fight Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Now, we already know there's been transitions of MMA fighters right now happening in the last couple of years. And now we're starting to see these epic events that Jake Paul's throwing, knocking out these guys in MMA. But I really want to ask you guys, what is this transition that's happening constantly, especially in the last year, where these MMA guys are coming into the sport of boxing? Is it affecting the sport of boxing in a positive way where we can say, okay, they're bringing more eyes to the sport? Or is it something that's starting to maybe not look so good, you know? Or maybe the MMA fighters losing to these boxers is something that you know, could kind of give you an insight on what exactly it takes to really make a full transition to the sport. I mean, we'll keep knocking them out, you know? Boxing is very different from MMA. And even though Francis Ngannou has incredible power, now let me tell you, you know, the Doomy knows a little bit about MMA. You know, I did MMA for 6 years. I was a big gym rat. And you know, I only decided to compete in boxing, but you know, I followed MMA pretty close. And some of these guys with the right training can make the right transition and be successful. I mean, I don't know off the top of the head who you can tell me right now that's made the transition and is really, really having, you know, an incredible career in boxing. It's not happened. I mean, the guy you could talk about is maybe McGregor. He was able to, you know, put a fight together with Mayweather that made a lot of money. And yeah, they made a lot of money, but we saw what happened to McGregor. McGregor was beating guys up, knocking them out, spinning back kicks, and you know, winning decisively. And even though I give him credit because you know he won a few rounds with Mayweather, it was not the same. You know, the sports are different, different dynamics. And I'm just interested in what you guys might think about a Francis Ngannou wanting to fight a Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, because in my eyes, it's not happening right off the gate. You're not going to transition into the sport and just expect to fight a Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. So I'm thinking to myself, what fights will he really be coming into? You know, we got some of the guys that we could talk about in the division. How low in the totem pole will he go in order to be able to find an appropriate opponent in this transition? I'm gonna go to the chat. I got you. Go to the chat and see what you guys are saying. But I'm gonna have to pull up these rankings because we got to know what's the real route. What's the real route? Okay, it looks like the computer It's giving me a little problem, but it's all good. All right, Mr. Max, shout out to you. You love Ngannou versus Wilder? All right, it ain't happening from the gate, champ. I'm gonna have to give you my sound bites a cappella. Chill, Chizzy. Rider of the Storm, what up? Big Fish Vega, shout out to you for everybody tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Zhang Zena, I want brain damage. Francis Ngannou. Yeah, you can definitely catch some brain damage, bro, if you're not doing what you need to do in order to make the right transition. So we'll pull up some of the rankings right now. Try this again, and we'll go through some of these guys. I mean, a White. Who does he fight coming in? You guys help me out. All right, pulling up the rankings now. And honestly, even in the top 15, I don't think that Francis Ngannou can, make that easy transition to where he's gonna look good. I mean, you guys have seen the videos, Mike Tyson, and teaching them some moves. But Mike, it looks good, and actually, I think that he could probably make a good boxer, but he's gonna have to take a while to actually get that muscle memory in there. And from what I've read, I think that Deontay Wilder, excuse me, Dana White, uh, still wants him in the UFC. I think that if he loses to Cyril Gain, um, there could be a possibility that he can transfer over to the boxing. But if he stays champion, Dana White can activate that champion's clause, and he could have a few more fights in the UFC. I don't think that Dana White's been too happy with some of these MMA fighters wanting to transition into boxing. He likes boxing, Dana White. He understands the sport. Obviously, he did some business with Al Heyman and the crew when they were up against Mayweather. But he knows it and understands that the difference in the sport is bigger than what the eye meets with some of these fighters. So he's very cautious, And I know you guys have seen the beef with Jake Paul and him, and the constant back and forth. So I mean, it gives somewhat of an entertainment value, and you're able to put some of these spectacle fights together because that's the era we're living in right now. To tell you the truth. All right. Rider of the Storm, Cheetos. In MMA, they really have to move out of the way of the kicks. Yeah, it's a different stance. I was just talking to some of the buddies here at the studio, and you really think about it, the stance and the dynamics of MMA, you have to understand the differences of the stances, the attacks. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that Francis Ngannou, if he's gonna make this transition, he's gonna have some good people around him. At least he should have some good people around him that are gonna be able to give him the right direction. Sweet science, more like fakery. Wake up, Frank Mir was injured. Yeah, I don't want to see a fight like that ever again. Pulev almost killed that man. I don't understand why they didn't stop the fight. Triller's wilding right now. These guys are literally going to go out on their shields. All right, so looking at the rankings right now, oh man, you got a long way to go before you get to that top of the mountain and you want to fight a Tyson Fury or a Deontay Wilder. And this has been talked about for a while. Tyson Fury is more than welcomed a fight with Ngannou. He understands where he stands, and Tyson Fury is the very best. We know that, and that type of movement you don't get overnight. It's a gift. But if you really think about it, let's go to the bottom of the 15, man. Who does it? I don't even see Ngannou fighting any of these guys. I mean, he has knockout power, but I mean, if you're talking about a Tony Yoka, I mean, if you're talking about even a Huey Fury, I don't see the skill there for him to be able to fight none of these guys. Maybe a smaller heavyweight would be something that he would probably transition into. I only say that because the advantages that he would have. Obviously, you don't want a champion from the UFC transitioning into boxing and losing embarrassingly. So you're going to try to give him an opponent that's going to make sense in that nourishment stage. Because even though he's a hell of an MMA fighter, you're not going to be able to jump in with some of these top guys. So honestly, I can't even go over any of these guys really that I would think that he would have success. I think maybe a Derek Chisora where he can actually land from the long range and give that smaller frame much more trouble. But then you put an Andy Ruiz Jr. in there. These guys are going to be busy doing other fights, real boxing. So even a Joe Joyce was mentioned there with him. A lot of the guys are going to be mentioned. Top guys in boxing are going to be mentioned because he is a champion. and he is a power hitter. But as far as an actual matchup being put together, not happening. Who's the best, Mike Tyson or Tyson Fury? Come on, champ. Different eras. Tyson Fury is the best of this era. You got to give him what his flowers now. Don't compare him to Mike. Mike was Mike. Ngannou versus Gerald Washington. Man, Gerald Washington had a bad day at the office, man. I mean, maybe. Okay. TVV podcast, Skype. You guys been leaving me out to dry. Look like this morning you guys are alive. I got to download Skype if I'm going to take any calls this morning. But I am in the studio, kind of beta testing out here. Still on the computer, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to the Skype calls today, this morning, guys. Maybe in the afternoon when I'm better set up and we got things rolling. You know, you guys are 3 hours ahead of me, man. I was up 5 a.m. for you guys this morning. Let's go, champ. Big Fish Vega, it's all about the money. Yeah, it is all about the money. And again, these hybrid fights that are happening now, they are creating a buzz. And that's why I'm asking if you guys believe that this is having a negative impact on the sport as we try, constantly see this transition from these MMA fighters and these hybrid fights, or is it bringing more attention to the sport? Because in the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We want more attention on the sport, fresh eyes, and the ability to put on good shows. So the on-site events are experiences that we can go back and really go down memory lane and not forget and remember. And I want to go out and attend these events more. But there's always a competitive edge between MMA and boxing, as you guys know. Who's better? Who can win? And I think that these hybrid fights are giving us that opportunity. I think that if it stays, more pure to matching these guys up in a sense where we're able to get some good fights and not, these ridiculous, gaps of skill and age and I mean the Frank Mir fight versus Cooper Pulev was a perfect example of that, man. You don't put up a guy that's that elite in boxing with a guy like Frank Mir that's on his way out. You could really hurt some guys, and you can really, I mean, look, if Mayweather went into the octagon with McGregor, I'm pretty sure he would have got tapped out. It's a different animal, You're not going to get the same result just because you're a good boxer. And I think that we haven't seen that. I think that probably would cause more waves to see a boxer transition into the MMA. I don't think that we've seen that truly. I mean, we had James Toney. Unfortunately, man, my man James, he ain't represent like he was supposed to. It was bad, He was on his back. He looked like a turtle out of the water. It was no good for us. Who else can we say that transition? Not off the top of the head. Yeah, Fast and the Furious. I mean, I don't know if it's not happening or it is happening, but he's very interested in coming into the sport of boxing. And, he said it quite a few times, to the press, to Dana White. So it's something that's actually real. It can actually happen. And, the attention that UFC sport, the sport itself is so fresh. And, and I actually kind of think about these things sometimes because MMA being so new has garnered so much attention in the short span that it's been a sport. And you got to give him credit for the model. And I know you guys see Jake Paul talking his shit, saying that the Dana has to pay the guy. I don't know if he's using that as a way to kind of get into the Dana White's head and maybe make something happen with Dana. I've had my own conspiracy theories, that maybe Jake Paul and Dana are creating this buzz so they could create some huge fight. But some of the people that I know think it's real. He doesn't. They don't like each other. And but it makes for great entertainment. If you get another Jake Paul guy, I mean, if you get Jake Paul with another MMA guy in there, that is closer to a boxer. Tyron Woodley was not that guy. He was a champion, yes. He had explosive power, yes, but he wasn't a pure boxer. And even though Tommy Fury was the guy that was supposed to give that test, Tommy Fury's not. He's not like his brothers or cousin Huey Fury. He's it's more of like a Lost in the Island. I forgot the name of the show.
Love Island.
Love Island. Shout out to Madison. He's on Love Island. Pretty boy style. I don't know. he even himself hasn't fought any guys that I would give him super credit for, but at least he was a pure boxer and he was going to be able to prove that he can knock out a boxer. Can Francis Ngannou beat a boxer on the level of Efe Ajagba? It's a good question. Efe Ajagba has incredible knockout power and also a lot of reach, and this is the transition that he has to worry about. He can't go in there and fight, contenders like Efe Ajagba. He's gonna have to stick with some guys that are maybe in the top 30. Maybe he fights some guy from Germany or from Turkey. Some of the guys that are not really going to give you too much trouble in your debut. You don't want to come into the sport, get knocked out, and then you go back and that's it. Your stock kind of drops. And I think that's surely going to happen. Even though you're not losing in the UFC, you get knocked out in boxing, you're coming back to UFC, they're going to look at you a little different. I think Ngannou's been doing his thing in the UFC. I know dreams are dreams, and maybe you do want to compete, but it's easier said than done, and you got to have the right time to do it. Who else is on here? Chase Athletics. What's up, champ? Chai Toes. Welcome. Good morning. Yeah, man. No intros this morning. I don't got nothing. I'm going to hack a cappella your sound bites, champ. Giovanni Aguilar, Clarissa Shields versus the Mexican MMA fighter, bro. She got submitted. There you go. There you go. Perfect example. Clarissa Shields gets submitted. And now she looks like she has a chink in her armor, even though it's not the same sport, And I think that that's another thing that people need to understand. Whoever makes your transition to whatever sport, just because they make that transition doesn't mean that their winning streaks are going to stay the same. That the translation of the sport from boxing to MMA to boxing is gonna give you that same result. It's not. You're going to face different adversities in the sport that you didn't face in the other. So you got to take into account that these situations, if you're not in the boxing gym experiencing them, when it's the fight, it's a different story. In action, you got the crowd on you, and she got submitted. It's simple as that. And Ngannou's not really a wrestler or anything like that. I mean, but anybody. Who else can we say that can make a transition to MMA like Clarissa? You got to still give her credit. A lot of the girls are doing it. I mean, Amanda Serrano did it. She competed and she was successful. I don't think she took a L. But Clarissa Shields is a boxer in essence. She's not going to be able to attain all this muscle memory and experience in the amount of time that she's been doing it. And she was training with some good guys. She was in John Jones' camp over there at the Winkle, right? And she's doing the best she can. And I think that the landscape for women's boxing is going to change pretty soon too. A lot more attention on women's boxing, and I think that it's going to get bigger. People want to see these good fights. Women put on some good fights. You got Amanda Serrano now at a huge stage. We know we want to see that Katie Taylor fight. It's going to work out, and it can work out. I'm not saying that it can't, but you gotta watch on how you are transitioning these fighters, because you can detriment their stock if they end up getting pulverized on this side of the fence. I mean, after Mayweather beat McGregor, I don't know. Can you say that it started to kind of like go down for him? Gets choked out by Nate Diaz. A lot of stuff starts to happen, and I don't know if it's a matter also of getting comfortable. The man made millions with Mayweather, one of the highest grossing matchups in the sport. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it can. You can get comfortable. Who's in here? CC voting. My only worry is Ngannou used to have cardio problems in MMA. Well, if you think about it, in boxing, you have more fight time in a championship fight. You got 36 minutes of fighting. In a championship fight for MMA, you got 5-minute rounds. That's 25 minutes. The rounds are longer in MMA. So, if you got those extra 2 minutes on top of the 3 in a professional fight, it's tough. It's a different type of cardio. And I think that in MMA, you might have to have a little more cardio, but the advantage of MMA and me, practicing MMA and jiu-jitsu is that you can take somebody down, catch your breath, you can kind of hold and make your way back to having your bar, your meter bar go up a little bit. In boxing, it's pretty hard to do that. If the other guy's full onslaught and you're tired, you can't do nothing. You can't. I mean, you could grapple because boxing does have its aspects of grappling. You could put that arm in a wizard and kind of try and hang in there. But the ref's splitting you up quick. The ref doesn't split you up in MMA if you're holding each other. You're grappling, you're trying to take each other down. It's not going to happen the way it does in boxing. In boxing, as soon as you start grappling, 3 seconds of nothing, no action, the referee's jumping in, so you have less time to rest. So the cardio can be an issue if you're transitioning and if you're not used to those positions. You could be used to the cardio in MMA and do just fine, but if you transition into boxing, you're not going to have those pockets of time where you can rest. Nate Diaz would beat Floyd in boxing. Chai toes, man. Go back to the Starbucks and get you some chai tea or some coffee, champ. You're not thinking. I just saw Nate Diaz. I shook his hand. I was out there at the Jake Paul fight, and yeah, come on, Nate Diaz. He's a legend, man. But we all know that he's had some tough battles. He's had some really, really tough battles, and I don't think that even now, I think Floyd would get him. And Nate Diaz has been in there with some good guys in boxing. Andre Ward, he's been sparring partners with Andre Ward, so I get it. His boxing is good, but his boxing is for MMA. I don't know if he would be able to make some waves, especially at this stage and age. Floyd got him. Chill, Chizzy. Wake up. All right. Fast and the Furious. Joshua is playing diva with Canelo and Mayweather. I've seen the videos. Why y'all hating on my boy Joshua, man? Let him do his thing. He's out here with different trainers trying to, get different styles together. You got to give him the credit, man. Some guys don't know how to keep growing in the sport of boxing. They stick to what they got. They don't want to change it. He was smart enough to actually make that decision after this fight that he lost with Alexander Usyk, which I think it was a great decision. And listen, I'm not saying nothing about AJ's team or the camp, but I really, truly feel that they had the wrong game plan. AJ was not going to go in there and outbox an Alexander Usyk. I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was ego. I don't know if it was the team that told him we're going to box a boxer and we're going to beat him at his own game. It was not going to work. AJ was supposed to go in there, impose his will, get heavy, jump on him like a heavy blanket and, wear him down. Y'all seen what Vladimir Klitschko did for a long time? He was the tall man. And then whenever he had to lean on you, he would lean on you, rough you up. And that's what you got to do as a heavyweight boxer. You got to be able to impose your will and your weight and your strength on the smaller man. Omar S. Champ. Yeah, man. The skip, Nestor Gibbs, bro. He's unattainable. We'll be finding out more information this morning. Hopefully the skip, hits me back with some good news and we could have him back on and keep moving and grooving. Big Money, Texas. Toledo. Salute to you, my guy. Chase Athletics. MMA training has its advantage in the clinch. A little dirty boxing, pulling, pushing, little shoulder and elbow action. Yeah. And I mean, look, in boxing, we have some grappling going on too. When I transitioned from MMA to boxing and I started actually competing in boxing, I realized that I could take some of these things from MMA and implement them in boxing. Obviously, I can't Muay Thai knee you in the gut. I can't do, all the other crazy stuff. But, grappling, you can't, a Muay Thai clinch on the neck, you can do in MMA. You can't do in boxing. But you still see it in the sport, man. Boxing is crazy because you got to be tricky. You got to be sneaky. And you could get some things off in the grappling department in boxing. A guy like Tyson Fury, I know you guys have seen his it's dirty boxing. Yeah. We saw what he did to USS legend. And he uses dirty boxing in a way where he always has the vision of the ref looking at his back. And it says he's so tall, he can get away with these dirty tactics, as they say. But he's successful. And, a fight is a fight. Yeah, I can't say anything about it. If the ref don't see it, don't look to the ref for help, man. I tell my guys, man, don't be in the ring arguing with the referee. And even when I've refed the Border Wars fights, man, some of you guys that jump on me and start talking, like, don't talk to me, man. It's a fight. Pay attention to your guy. Who's that? Adrian, what up, man? Listen, I didn't bring you on, brother, because I'm literally here on the in the new studio, and we're just kind of getting a sense for how the place is working out. It's beautiful in here. I'm happy. We're gonna be coming to you live with multiple shows and entertainment. So I'm getting really excited. Mac and Cheese, Doomsday, you in Vegas or what? Yeah, I am, champ. Yeah, I am. Tigre 2-time. What up? Salute to you. Reese Mack, nah, he's not sick, man. No Omicron over here, champy. All right. He's doing just fine. Loch Ness, he's just, unattainable, handling some personal matters. He'll be back soon. No problemo. Fighters are supposed to what? It's to fight until they lose. That's part of the cycle. Yeah, well, if Francis fights Cyril Gain and loses, I guess that, maybe contractually he can make that move to boxing. We sick of y'all asking every day where's Ness when Doomy has repeatedly said today we will know more. God damn. Shout out to you, Big Fish. Yeah, man. Listen, I don't mind. You already know, man. It's usually the dynamic duo and shit, but I get it. I get it, man. We're gonna bring more normalcy to the show pretty soon too, because I know you guys have been missing the Skype and Block Talk. The Doomitron didn't have the actual equipment to be able to put it together, and we were not ready spaghetti for this situation. So it's all good. Skull the Dirtbag. Shout out to you, champ. Sending you a fire emoji right back. Hadouken. Don't got the Border Wars. Don't got the soundboard today. What is Border Wars Fights about? Who runs that? Imperial Kingdom. We run that, man. We actually created a program that allows regular Joes, regular Joes, 9 to 5 guys, doing the do, to be able to participate in the sport and have their time and their moment in the ring. And the cool thing about it is that we interview you guys just like professional fighters get interviewed. We give you our platform. We interview you, and part of the program is for you guys to be able to lose some weight through the love of the sport of boxing. I know there's plenty of us regular Joes out there that work, take care of families, don't have really too much time to work out, and sometimes you need that extra motivation. And I think this program has created that. We're able to change lives at the same time, give the support to these participants, and the community gets behind them. So yeah, Imperial Kingdom, it's a great program. And obviously, we match everybody up accordingly to weight and skill level. Everybody's wearing, the USA Boxing headgear and gloves. So, we really try to make it as fun and safe as possible for the participants. Because at the end of the day, it's a great community, TBB family. We already know that at the end of the fights, we're going out having a beer, kicking it. We're not, it's not like we're having this tension like, oh, you beat me up. Oh, no, it's none of that. Just like you see in the professionals, man, when the guy walks over and shakes the other man's hand. This is how we do it here at TBV. Border Wars, great program, champs. So, yeah, I hope I answered that question right for you. And let's keep moving on. Francis lost a lot of weight recently. I think 230, 240. He used to be 280. Yeah, he's a huge guy, man. Huge punching power. Listen, I'm not saying that he can't be successful with that amount of power in those hands. He can knock out some of these guys. Pretty sure that if he's skilled up and prepared, he can make some waves. J Mac on the attack, champ. I wish I had these sound bites right now so I could hit you with them, man. J Mac, I'm missing the intro, champy. It's the Mac attack. Let's go, champ. Giovanni, what up? Okay, Giovanni. Yo, what's your 2022 fight you're looking forward to? Wow, look at these guys. I'm looking forward to that Earl Spence Jr. and T. Bud Crawford happening. But I think they're getting ready to move forward with the Dennis Ugas fight. I got to check out to see if some of these dates are starting to pan out, because I'm getting a lot of confirmations, but I want to see dates. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the dates. When are you fighting? How's it going down? Right now, let's see international. Okay. Who's that? Y'all in the new studio? Yeah, man. I'm in Las Vegas, Marcel. I'm in Las Vegas, and the studio's looking nice. You see the light. I've been going live from from the spot, but the lighting wasn't too good. The lighting is great here. How do you sign up? Chuck Supremacy. Well, we were projecting to have our next event April 2nd, but because of the things that have been happening and going on for us, that date was probably going to change to probably a little mid-April to the end of April. So give us a moment to get things figured out. Obviously, see if Ness gives us some information today to see if he's taking care of everything he has to take care of and he's coming back. I am in contact with some of the other venues. I don't think that Florida is going to be one of those venues that we'll be revisiting. So possible Phoenix, Arizona, and or New Mexico, excuse me, New Mexico or Dallas, Texas. And shout out to Roger. You know, I've been talking to him. I actually got to get some more information. He sent me some videos of the Dallas venue. It was pretty nice. We can really turn that into something. Obviously, you know, there's more things to look at, but that's what it is right now for the signing up of Border Wars. So I hope that answered that a little bit. Intrigued. Shout out to you, champs. And again, smash that thumbs up button. Hit them with the triple combo. You already know what the triple combo is. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you know when we're going live, because that bell ain't shaking. You ain't baking with us or any other time that we go live. So let's go, campeones. Should big money fights use VR referees? How does that even work? VR referees. I mean, I'm guessing like remotely. You know, I guess you guys must have gotten some Christmas gifts this this last year. You know, a lot of you guys got the Oculus. You want to get into the metaverse, you know, and all that. Now, it's pretty sweet. I like it. You know, it's just a different view. But VR referees, I don't think. Listen, we talked about referees being on tennis court, sort of like high up, you know, seating. You know, you guys have seen the U.S. Opens, so you know what I'm talking about. It's like these giant beach lifeguard chairs that stand like 15 feet up over the tennis court, and we talked about that maybe being a possibility to get better judging. But VR refereeing, I don't know. How the hell are you supposed to how are you supposed to get in the middle of a fight if you're VR? You know what I'm saying? Explain that to me though, champ. And one mixtape player, what up? You in Vegas, me too. You on the West Summerlin Park or South Spring Valley? What's the plans for later? Champ. Well, right now, man, I got no plans for later. You know, the Dumatron had no clothes. I'm out here in Las Vegas, had no clothes. Airline lost my luggage. It was crazy for the Dumatron champs. I'm telling you. I was out here, you know, going to Target, buying black shirts and wearing sweats all day. But we still made it happen out here, so I'm not too bothered by it. They actually found my luggage. Yeah, they found it and supposed to be delivering it. We'll see, because by the time it gets here, I'll be back in Jersey. All right, Shai told you a fight fan, so am I, champ. Border Wars ATL. Damn, Intrigue, call me. Call me if you really think that can happen, because, you know, the ATL is right next to Florida. That wouldn't be too bad of a drive, even if we had to bring a lot of equipment. So, yeah. Okay, camera angles to help ref make a legal and safe decision. Listen, I've refereed. You know, when you're a referee, you got to be able to make physical on-site decisions. So I don't. Maybe for judging it would work, but I don't know so much for refereeing. Yeah, intrigue. I'm not sleeping on ATL, champion. No way. Give me a call. Let me know what we can do, because the venues are still open right now, and obviously I still have a lot of talking to do and planning and, you know, contracts and stuff like that to see where is the best place for TBV Border Wars, man. Who's what? Damn, fam, did a meet the parents on you? Damn, fam, they did a meet the parents. Yeah, they did that to me, champ. They did that. Mr. T, question mark. What you mean? What are you asking?
What Jersey are you?
Yeah, I'm Jersey. I am in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Y'all know that. Jersey stand up. But if I told you that it's colder in Las Vegas right now than it is in Jersey, I wouldn't believe me. It's like 46 down here, something like that. All right. Francis Ngannou wants to fight Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. That's one of the topics that we're covering this morning. You know, we can transition to some other stuff. There's plenty of boxing right now going on. And let's get into some of that, because I really wanted to talk about, you know, Earl and Ugas confirming plans for the springtime WBC, WBA, IBF welter unification bout. This is the one. This is the one right here, man, that's going to decide whether or not we get to see Errol Spence versus T-Bud. You know, it's scary sometimes as a boxing fan, right? And you know, we've built our wish list. We want what we want, and we don't want nothing to get in the way. You know, when you have things marinating, when you have these eliminators and mandatories, anything can happen where you can lose a fight that you've really been waiting for. You know, there's always little things that can, kind of trip up matchups. So, Earl Spence, Dennis Ugas, it's going to be a fight that's going to determine, obviously, who's going to go and take on T-Bud. We want Earl. So I'll just, I'll go ahead and give you a couple of quotes. A shout out to I think it's my man Dan. No, it's not Dan actually. But shout out to Boxing Scene and Jake Donovan, senior writer for Boxing Scene, always doing the do and covering the sport. And I'll go ahead and quote Ugas, and he says the fights in April. Spence confirmed on Instagram. Okay, this is not him. Man, doubt he already know what time it is. Yeah, okay. The quote is, "We are targeting March or April for the fight," Ugas told Fox Sports' Ray Flores while in attendance for a pay-per-view event at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. "It's a fight for 3 titles. It's a fight that we want and are targeting the springtime." There you go, champs. You're gonna get that springtime about April, right? April, March, spring. Eh?
That's great.
Don't quote me on it. I'm lost in the seasons right now. But the fights in April, Spence confirmed in an Instagram. Okay. So you got 2 confirmations there. The fights in April, Spence confirmed in an Instagram live video with actor comedian Desi Banks. Man's down, strap season. You already know what time it is. So the fight is getting solid. It's going to be in April. Just waiting, I guess, for an actual date. But let me go to the chatty, see what's going on in here. All right, Thomas. Yeah, these young bucks just want a big payday. That's all. What are you talking about, man? Let's go to the next one. We're still talking Ngannou, huh? You guys love that. Where's my MMA guys? Some of my MMA guys that come on here and just kind of sneak in and see what we're talking about. And some of you like MMA too, man. Matter of fact, let me get a MMA. Matter of fact, even better. Let me see who I can put up there. Lucky I'm not on my computer. If y'all want to see more, if you want to see Francis Ngannou transition over to MMA right now, hit me with the gas emoji. Fill this chat up with the gas emoji if y'all think that's a fire way to start off the 2022. Get a champion heavyweight MMA guy to come fight some of these top guys. And honestly, man, this guy hits hard. So, you can actually he's the Deontay Wilder of UFC. All right. So just for my guys that are purists in boxing. Gain has a chance. Obviously, man, I'm always, as somebody that knows combat, and can give guy the opportunity that he can possibly do something. But no, man, I don't think Gain will win this one. I think that Francis is just too strong, too big. And he's in his own, mountaintop. Sergey's a hell of a fighter. Not saying that he can't be competitive and absolutely, put up a good fight. But the thing is with Francis Ngannou, like Deontay Wilder, is that he can knock you out. He can knock you out, man. He has the power to do that, to touch you one time and drop you. So, you can't count Ngannou out. Spence fighting in April means Thurman versus Bud this summer, and the winner will face Ugas versus Spence, winner 2023. Come on, champy. You really think that's what's going to happen? He's going to fight Mario Barrios, and then he's going to go straight into a Bud fight. I don't know, Intrigue. Me and you, we right here. We back my man Thurman up. We believe. But I can't believe that he's going to go in there with Bud. I think that, if anything, he would probably wait for Earl and T-Bud to fight. And then maybe he would jump in and fight a Bud. But who knows? He's been training. Keith's been looking good. He's a strong fighter. So, you got to be able to, give him some credit. Okay, Chai Toes game probably, but the first couple rounds of Francis are dangerous. Yeah, and I think that goes to what you just said too. Excuse me, Francis. Sometimes what he does is that he's able to. Well, what he does not able to do, but what happens is that he slows down a bit. If the pace is picked up and he's not having much success, I guess, in the first 3 rounds. When you get into the championship rounds in MMA, it can get a little tough for you. The rounds are longer than in boxing, so I can see what you mean by that. All right, Thurman isn't fighting Bud after Barrios. He's fighting Isaac Cruz. Rider of the Storm, where are you getting this stuff from, bro? Do I gotta hit you with the fact check or something? What's going on? How does he just go into that? You know? He goes into a Mario Barrios fight, straight into a what? Say what? Hey, Doomy, is Ness on vacay? Jerome, champ. He's not on vacay. He's just handling some personal matters. And yeah, that's the story right now. Later on, I guess even when I get off the show, I'll be able to, talk to you guys a little bit more about what's going on, man. Hopefully it's good news. I'm hoping it is. And yeah, that's what we got for now. Winforce, shout out to you too, Champy. Let's go. Would have hit you with a soundbite, but I'm doing it a cappella today. All right. Need that payday. Who's that? Sweet Funny Kittens. Oh man, Freezy McBones eats Francis for brunch. Who's Freezy McBones? You're talking about John Jones, and we know John Jones is moving up to heavyweight. He's actually been doing very good too, man, with the transition, man. He's definitely taking the time. Definitely taking the time to move up to heavyweight. So I'm a big John Jones fan. I know a lot of y'all probably like, man, F him, look what he does or whatever. He's out there, he hasn't got the best advertisement, propaganda, whatever you want to call it. He hasn't had the best cameras in front of him. He's been into some crazy situation, but we'll be all right. Jesus Cardenas, Ness está con Akon. Puta, loco, no seas así. Nah, él está tranquilo, man. Ahí, vamos a ver qué lo dice hoy. And we'll just see what he says, man. But shout out to you, Champy. Rod, shout out to you. El Dumitron, aquí, controlando. AZZ, who's the best boxer of all time? Come on, champ. You're going to get into this conversation this early in the morning? All right. Ali, come on. What do you want to see? You want to argue that? Mayweather? Yo, Andres, ¿cómo va? Champ. Again, if you're just tuning in, man, you're tuning in. It's me, Alex Doomsday Linus. You already know. I'm driving the boat. We're here in Las Vegas in the studio. And just checking stuff out, man. And hopefully Ness will be joining us sooner than later. He'll be down here, and we'll be going live from here in the studio in Las Vegas. Shout out to TBV. Shout out to Fight Stars TV. We're going to be doing big things over here, and I'm super excited. Super excited. Coach Rivera, saludos. ¿Cómo estamos, hermano? Everything good? Hey, yo, Rod, what you talking about, brother? That's busted a Dave Chappelle left TV to go to Smoke Africa. Oh, man. You guys are great, though, man. We appreciate y'all. Mad love. TBV community. You already know, man. We want the skip in studio so we can start hitting them with some sound bites. All right. Yeah, Andres, we'll be out here in Vegas. We're definitely going to be transitioning over here, man. Definitely going to be transitioning. So again, guys, if you're tuning in, this is the morning show. We've been kind of freestyle sailing this thing, trying to keep the boat afloat. And this week, I'm pretty sure we'll have everything panned out. We'll have Block Talk back on, and the Skype calling go on. So the program's going to go back to normalcy pretty soon. But in the meantime, if you're here with us in the morning, hit that like button, hit the subscribe. If you are wanting to, know exactly when we're going live, hit the notification bell. And then tell a friend, man. Listen, the more that this show gets visibility, the more success it has, the bigger the community gets, and the more fun we get to have, right? So let's go, champ. Who's this? Super martial artist, Olisa Eric to challenge Jake Paul. Okay. Imperial Kingdom. That's some That's some pretty decent news. How do you see the boxing landscape if he achieves this in 2022? I don't know who super martial artist Olisa Eric Osaya really is. I would have to check that out, champ. What discipline is he in? If he's a super martial artist, what is he? Jiu-jitsu champion, taekwondo? What is he doing? You know, is he like Wonder Boy Thompson? You know, taekwondo and kicking and shit. I don't know. I don't know if that transitions too well to boxing too, but I'll check that out. I mean, look, you can look at Jake Paul's list. I mean, it's a little far fetched. I don't think he's getting in there with a Canelo. You know, I don't know. Hey, Rod, what do you mean you found them? Excuse me. Y'all be killing me, man. What you making me see in this DM? What am I looking at, champ? Y'all crazy, man. Y'all are crazy. Shout out to you, Rod. Oh man. So yeah, we were talking what Keith Thurman, right? Keith Thurman coming back to a T-butt after Mario Barrios. No way, Jose. I'll leave it at that. And get back to Earl Spence because that's what I want to talk about. Obviously, there's some mandatory challengers right now, or excuse me, they have plans for a fight that had been, I guess, placed last September, was put on a hold. Okay, a 4-man box off was ordered by the sanctioning body. You remember that? I know you guys remember that. But Imantas Stanonius was able to just step aside, take that step aside money, and I think they got him matched up now with Radzab Buteyev. So, you know, it's still going to be a good fight. And I actually, you know, a lot of us can appreciate for Yamantis Stanosius to stepping aside, you know. He allowed the walkthrough for this fight to be able to still happen. You still have Ugas and Errol and the possibility of that fight becoming one with T-Bud. So, again, the fight's being talked about for April. So it's going to be in the springtime. And it'll be for the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think, man. This matchup actually, you know, for a lot of people that, you know, are Errol Spence fans and, you know, they stand behind Earl, I don't think that they actually see the real threat that your Dennis Ugas is going to be bringing to this fight. You guys sleep on Ugas all the time. I don't get y'all. I mean, he beat Pacquiao. I mean, even when he fought Porter, he was giving Porter some problems. Some real problems, and I know that recently T-Bud has stopped him, and his air of grind is probably not, you know, as high as it was when, you know, he was fighting guys like Keith Thurman. I remember the Keith Thurman fight, man. Sean Porter was able to put so much pressure on Keith that when I went into the back locker room after the fight ended, you know, I saw the burn marks, you know, on the back of Keith Thurman. Every time he was on the ropes leaning, you know, Sean Porter was just grinding him through. It was that time where you actually to see Sean Porter looking like an invincible, you know, I don't know. I don't even know what to compare him to, man. The guy's like freaking like Thanos coming at you in that ring. Yo, shout out to Tony Smothers. Tony Smothers on a super chat. Cheer. He says, shout out to Doomy for holding it down. Happy New Year's to TBV. Jake Paul bringing all the UFC fighters to boxing. Dana need to watch out. Yeah, Happy New Year's to you too, family, and everybody else that, you know, is tuning in that I wasn't able to go ahead and say Happy New Year's to, man. Thank y'all for tuning in with us on 2022. Big things coming our way. And yeah, man, listen, I know you guys are probably like, man, TBV, you know, usually has the interviews and more people on the show. And that's, you know, because of obvious reasons. You know, we haven't been able to schedule and really get on some guests. So we'll be able to take care of that pretty soon, though. I don't know. I don't hate Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas is great, man. Yeah, actually, I actually respect him a lot, you know, because nobody can really shut Teddy up, you know. He's going to say what he wants to say when he wants to say it. Imperial Kingdom, he's more kung fu kick boxing. Nah, champ. I don't know him. I'm going to have to look him up. Sorry. Perception Music, man, we love you. You already know, man. There's mad love over here, brother. So thank you. All right. Let's see if we could switch on over. You know, we're doing the freestyle. And there's a couple of more things that we could probably talk about. I know that I covered some of the fights. You know, when we spoke about the card, Luis Ortiz and his victory over Charles Martin. But you know, I wanted to talk a little bit more about Luis Ortiz because how does he move forward, and where do you see him now after this performance? Do you see him facing the top guys? I know he was here for IBF Eliminator, and Alexander Usyk is obviously the champion now, but you know he has to tango again with Anthony Joshua. So it's just a matter of how the landscape pans out, and I'll see him giving any of these guys competition. But you know he did get knocked down twice, so it's a matter of what you really think about his age and his endurance. And yeah, he got knocked down twice, but he got up twice. So you got to be able to give me a good reason why you don't see Luis Ortiz making some real waves with the champions in this division. We've always kind of thought that Luis Ortiz would one day conquer and one of these sanctioning bodies and get a title. I mean, I don't think it's too far fetched for him. I think that he has the skills and the killer instinct to finish guys. It's still there. I mean, he showed you what he can do. I mean, he had Martin hanging off the ropes off one glove. I mean, he put him in the ropes and made him a pretzel. And 42-year-olds, by the way. I don't want to hear that Cuban 10-year advance age theory that you guys give me. All right, he's 42 years old. Any older, I don't even know. I mean, the guy doesn't have a single white hair on his head, so I don't think he's 50 just yet. So what do you think the futures are for this guy, man? How you know, does he have a shot? Does he really have a shot? You know, he was beat twice only by Deontay Wilder. So literally you can say, like, if he has lost, he's lost to the top guy. And obviously, you know, Deontay Wilder is not the top guy anymore. It's Tyson Fury. And a fight with Tyson Fury would be totally different than when a fight with Deontay Wilder. But I think that because of his boxing prowess, his experience, and his ability to finish guys, he can definitely tangle with, let's say, maybe Philip Hrgovic, who now is the number two. And a possible fight could possibly be made with the number two in the wait of waiting for the IBF championship. So Anthony Joshua, number 4. Wow. You know, I was so used to seeing the heavyweight rankings with, you know, Anthony Joshua at the top across the whole board. Now there's not one Anthony Joshua there. Got Anthony Joshua number 2 in the ring. Anthony Joshua number 4 in the WBO, number 4 in the IBF. So he only dropped like 4 spots. Usually, you know, guys can drop an immense amount, a big amount of spots in the rankings. We've seen some of the stuff actually ridiculous because it's just, you know, if you lose one time, you get dropped all the way to like 20. It's pretty messed up, in my opinion, really. But yeah, I think that Luis Ortiz has some real stake in this division still. I think he can, and if we don't see him in the future as a real, you know, championship holder, title holder, we can see him in there with some good fights. I mean, I still would love to see a Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz. I think that, you know, when the whole Bridgerweight division thing kicked in, it made sense to me because some of these guys are not huge, like a Tyson Fury, like a Deontay Wilder, like a Helenius, like a Gerald Washington. These are the titans of the heavyweight division. But then you got your smaller heavyweights. And sometimes when you pin them up against these bigger dudes, it may have an air of unfairness. You know, you'll see these guys and comparatively like, man, come on. Like, you know, why are they even making these fights? But then you get guys like Andy Ruiz that, you know, they don't fit the mold. You look at him, chubby guy. I mean, obviously he's been with Eddie Reynoso now these days, so he's looking real good, more muscular or whatnot. But nobody expected him to do what he did against Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua is obviously one of the titans, one of the top big guys. So you can have some of these smaller guys that'll have certain skills that can kind of push them past that size advantage. But I definitely would like to see more of these less, these lighter weight heavyweights fight each other. Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz would be a great fight. I mean, I don't know if that's something that would interest everybody, but I mean, Cuba versus Mexico. I don't know if you could do something with that. Maybe you can. It is two styles that are very popular in the sport. Usually, you get Mexico versus Puerto Rico, things like that, or even Dominican Republic versus Puerto Rico. We get some good fights. That for Ortiz versus Helenius. Again, Helenius is big, man, and he Luis Ortiz has success with Deontay Wilder, so I'm not saying that he couldn't tango and beat some of these guys. And Helenius is lower, I guess, in the skill set or the threat, you might say. I'm not gonna say skill threat. The guy's skilled in his own way, but it would definitely be something that I would like to see. Dr. Mofongo, good morning to the doc. Shout out to you, champion. What are you saying to me? Dumi secretly wants to bring MMA to Border Wars, looking for a venue with an octagon. Yo, I'll make up a hybrid sport. I'll take you back to the old rules, not the Queensberry rules. There was another set of rules, and I know you guys saw me on here years ago talking about this. Now you got fucking Thriller doing it. I talked about this hybrid sport a long time ago, man. But somebody else did it. I don't know if I like it too much. It's okay. It's a combination of the two sports, but not really. But whatever. I'm fine with watching them both separately. I got no hate for any of them. I like both of them. So, anything hybrid new, I don't know. It'll take time for people to accept it. Matt Bent, shout out to you, man. Yeah, man. We need to skip back on here, but I don't know about Free. He's all right, man. He's just not. It's not attainable right now. All right, so Luis Ortiz does the do. This was a recent, obviously, we've talked about it a little bit over the Sunday flagship show. And Ioka, okay. Who is Ioka goes to 9-1. All right, I'm going to skip this. We'll move on. We'll pivot, guys. Again, we're freestyling right now, trying to see what else is on the landscape for January. I know that some of the boxing schedules we talked about too. I know Luis Nunez is going to be fighting Carlos Arriata. I don't know if you guys are aware of that fight. I know that sometimes we don't put enough attention on the lower weight classes, so some probably slip through the cracks. But you got Dominican Republic versus Puerto Rico on that one with Luis Nunez and Carlos Arriata. So we'll see. They give us good action in the lower weight divisions. No hate over here. Shout out to Mario. Mario was always here, the defender of the lower weight classes. So shout out to you, champion. Yeah, Ortiz's legs were not doing good, but you see what you guys don't understand is that, you get hit good, your legs are going to turn to jelly. You can't pop up and in 1 second you think that you're going to be the same person you were just a couple of seconds ago before you got knocked down. It doesn't happen that way. So I can't get to the point where I'm like, oh, his legs were like jello, or he doesn't have legs anymore. Your legs will go just like that with a well-placed punch. What matters to me more was the recovery, how a guy recovers after getting a hard shot. So make sure that you pay more attention to how he recovers, not the immediate get up from the canvas, because the immediate get up from the canvas is probably the hardest part. That's where it takes the will the will to win, to get up and keep going. And in that time that you're trying to get your balance, you're trying to get your bearings back, it takes a little seconds to, and it takes more than just seconds, guys. See, this is the thing, like being a fighter and fighting at those elite levels, you got to understand what these guys go through in the ring. I mean, you got professional fighters, you're knocked down, you got this guy ready to take you out, and you got 10 seconds. And honestly, you got an 8-second, because if you're not up by the 8-second, you give that referee the 9 and the 10th second, he could call the fight in those last 2 seconds if he doesn't feel like you're right. So The standard get up by the 8 count. And that's pretty hard to do, Think about it. Think about it. You're in the street, and you've seen all the videos on YouTube, the viral videos, street fight. Guy hits you one time. These guys are regular Joes. Just remember that. A regular Joe doesn't pop back up and is ready to go in 1 second. No, man. And now imagine these elite fighters who are elite punchers that are fighting in this ring, getting knocked down and getting up in 8 seconds. Okay? Flash knockdown, whatever you want to call it, Some knockdowns are more devastating than others. But, it takes a lot of will, a lot of endurance and durability. And, I got to give Luis Ortiz some credit. He was able to get up. Majid, shout out to you. Chee. What did you say? Ortiz didn't look good, even though he won. Long term, it doesn't look good for him. All right. So what are you saying? What how much left? Are you telling me that Ortiz can't fight an Andy Ruiz and possibly be successful? I mean, go skill for skill, man. Andy Ruiz been knocked down. He's been knocked down. He's gotten back up. So, you can't use one thing for one guy and not for the other, And obviously, Andy Ruiz is younger than Luis Ortiz, but I mean, when you've been knocked down and you see how that man recovers and gets back up, you get a sense of what kind of durability he has. And even though the age is kind of different, Ortiz showed that he still can get up and still can finish a fight and still have the killer instinct behind it. And yeah, he exactly. Salt Gang, thank you very much. Thank you very much. People forget about inactivity. Inactivity is killer in the sport. One of the most important things in this sport is to stay active. If you don't stay active, the muscle memory ain't there. You're not going to be able to be quicker. You know what I say? You got to be quicker than that. Speed and power, baby. That's what wins fights. And he fought Alexander Flores. And I think that might have been just a stay busy fight, That was in November 7th. And how much credit you give him for an Alexander Flores? Not too much. But then again, he stayed active and he did what he did. He KO'd the guy. So it wasn't too much inactivity. I think that what you're trying to say maybe is that he wasn't active with actual high caliber fighters. But Charles Martin was. And, you guys could talk about Charles Martin all you want, but Charles Martin, his comeback was, I think personally, pretty good in the sense that we got to see him make the adjustments that he needed and come in, give us some good, entertaining fights. He put out Gerald Washington. And, yeah, you could probably get into an argument with on that. We can debate on that. Charles Martin fighting a Gerald Washington and winning. Gerald Washington obviously just took a L. Hasn't had the best of luck. Let's see what you guys got here. I know y'all going in on me right now. Luis Ortiz versus Andy. I'm telling you, Mr. PBC, that's a good fight, man. If we could get a Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz in there, I think we'd sell some tickets. We'd sell some pay-per-views. I mean, is that a pay-per-view? I wonder how the undercard would look on a situation like that. I mean, Andy Ruiz has a following, bro, and he has a backing. King Kong, I'm pretty sure with this fight, he's probably reawakened some of the mass fans that he has in Florida, Shout out to Cuba and the Cuban community down in Florida. Who else is in here? Let's go. If it was Joyce versus Ortiz, I have to go with the Juggernaut. Yeah, I'm not saying pin him up against Joe Joyce, man. I mean, again, I can't count Luis Ortiz out, but once you start going, higher up and some of these guys, and personally what I think some of these guys can do at those levels, George Joyce is a force to be reckoned with. So I'm not gonna say that he would throw him immediately in there with him, champ. Rolling with the punches. Chee! Yo, Russ Petit, what you mean? Not a pay-per-view? A Luis Ortiz. Hold on. So a Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz isn't a pay-per-view, and I'm not trying to get on y'all right now, but y'all just watched a heavyweight card, Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin for $40. So what you're saying to me? It's not a $80 pay per view, but it's a $40 pay per view, or it's just not a pay per view at all. I don't know, Champy. It has to be at least a pay per view. You got Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz. What do you mean? I understand that you don't want to pay up. You know, again, I'll recap that. You know, last quarter was heavy on the consumers, a lot of buying, a lot of subscriptions, and all that. But you know, they got to pay the bills. And Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz is going to garner a lot of attention. Trust me, these guys. When you're matching these guys up at these levels, these are the fights that we want to see. And I mean, SS voting, if you want to go ahead and pin him up against Daniel Dubois, but I mean, what does that do for him? Not right now, at least. You know, and in between fight, if you're destined to be in a title contention, you're and it's only one fight away. You don't want to fight such a dangerous guy. So I don't really know if he goes that route. Good money, yes, Salt Gang. I mean, $40 sounds a lot better, but obviously the purses are a little different. The purses are going to be a little different in a fight like that. You know, some of the heavyweight fights that we had for the Luis Ortiz, Charles Martin undercard were exciting. They gave us a little bit of action, but I'm pretty sure that the purses weren't as high as you know, a card like Luis Ortiz and versus Andy Ruiz would want or demand. So it's a little different. Hey yo, Perception Media, bring back Friday night fights. I mean, yeah, I mean, look, this Friday we're going to be having Friday night fights. You know, Luis Nunez versus Carlos Arrieta is going to be on Friday. So, you know, tune in on Friday, champ. But I remember Friday night fights, man. That was dope. It was a good time. KO for life. What you mean? Old man Ortiz is trash. You know, champ, go to the mirror right now and smack yourself. All right, just smack yourself, champy. How dare you? How dare you say that man is trash? Matter of fact, Chaos for life. We signing you up for Border Wars, champ. That's it. We're gonna match you up. Get in the ring and swinging. Come on. Dubois ends Ortiz's career. I don't. You know, man. I like Dubois, man. I really do. Daniel Dubois is dangerous. I mean, you know, Joe Joyce was able to do what he did to him, but Daniel's still dangerous. Whether he's fully experienced enough or not to take on a Luis Ortiz, I might could say no, because he did face a Joe Joyce, and we saw what Joe Joyce was able to do. But you can't take one fighter and say that he's going to be exactly the same with this fighter. This is what we say: the saying, styles make fights. But he does have the possibility. I mean, look, Luis Ortiz got knocked down twice by Charles Martin. I know Charles Martin probably not known as a super power puncher or whatnot, but he was able to knock him down. So Daniel Dubois would definitely be able to knock a Luis Ortiz down, and maybe with more devastating power. So it's pretty trippy, Champy. The best dad ever. Shout out to you, Champy. Better late than ever, man. Welcome. Good morning for joining us this morning from Las Vegas. We're here in studio with the Doomatron. Dr. Mofongo, what up? You back at it? 80s and 90s, we have Friday night fights, Tuesday night fights. You going down memory lane, Champy. You going down memory lane, man. Maybe something will pop off, man. They got to bring that back, though. Yeah, Spider Rico. Listen, Linda. Listen. When the camera went straight to Luis Ortiz's daughter, I was like, man, these camera guys are ruthless. But I get it. It's entertainment, the sport. You want to cover every picture, every facet of what's going on. So even though I was kind of pissed off for a little bit, because, I go back to the Miguel Cotto story when Margarita was, plastering literally Miguel's face. You got to see the family and the wife and crying, and it was sad, and it is kind of sad, right? If you got to have some empathy, get into those shoes, and if you have, if your family and you're seeing your loved one up there getting cut up and beat the hell out of, it can have an emotional impact. But to see the kids is what really, gets to me, man. Little girl was crying. Obviously, Luis Ortiz has a great relationship with his kids. He fights for his family. So it was just pretty dope to see him get knocked down twice. You're seeing the story, happening in front of you. And then all of a sudden, boom, he comes back, knocks out Charles Martin. And he's in the ring celebrating with his daughters and his family. So it was pretty dope. Why is PBC having so many pay-per-views? I don't know. I don't know exactly why that's working out the way it is, but you know, the model's been there forever. You know, for a minute we thought pay-per-view was gonna go out the window, and you know, subscriptions and all that was gonna be the new thing. But pay-per-view is still popping, Champy. And if you're making good fights, you need that extra money. You know, these purses get high. You got to pay these guys the right way if you want them to get in the ring and swing. But yeah, guys. So look, man, I'm gonna check out the super chats to see if we have anything else on here. I know that for a fact, you know, we're gonna have the Block Talk and Skype up this week. We'll get you guys in here a lot faster and quicker. We'll have more interaction. You know, I miss the shit. I love kicking it with y'all. And I'm actually in studio right now, so not even the Skype is actually on here. So I won't be able to bring you guys on. And it looks like the Mac attack, and I don't mean J Mac from the 504. I mean the MacBook that I'm using will go to sleep in like 5 minutes because I have 5% power. So again, we're moving and grooving, slipping, rolling with the punches. You're here in the morning with TBV, man. I appreciate everyone that tunes in and listens. But I got to say that you got to hit that like button. Hit that like button, please. Hit that subscribe. And if you want to hear every time we're going live, hit that notification bell because we do break news exclusively on the hour sometimes. And yeah, get to know us more. Hit that membership button too. If you're interested in some of the emojis, matter of fact, let me fill. I'm gonna flood. I'm gonna flood the chat right now, champs. I know y'all been missing Ness. I'm gonna hit y'all with the Ness soundbite. All right. So if y'all see all these cool emojis, you're only able to use these emojis, obviously, if you're on one of the membership tiers, whether it be the highest or the lowest, it doesn't matter. Once you're a member, you have access to the loyalty badges too that will be placed alongside of your name. And lets us know how long you've been with the team. I'm getting the circle of death here. Battery's about to die. So, you know, the Doomatron is tuning out. Again, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. I'm going to go ahead and end this. And hopefully we'll be coming back around tonight for an Untitled. You know how we get down on Untitled. I'm going to post some questions on the community page. Guys, you know, I know some of y'all sometimes don't reach that community page. It's very important that you pay attention to the community page because that's where the posting of the schedule goes on. And I'll be posting a post. How many times did I say post? So, yeah, I'll be posting a post. And, you know, ask questions on the comments so that we can have a fun Untitled today. Again, this is Alex Linus. Alex Doomsday Linus. That is Alex _Doomsday _LAINEZ on IG. Alex Linus TBV on Twitter. And on TikTok, you catch me doing the dance, two-stepping. And yeah, we over and out. Rolling with the punches. Chat room. Shout out to the live chat, man. Y'all hold me down. I appreciate y'all. You know, I've always been big on the live chat. So shout out to y'all, man. This is the Doomatron. Over and out.